We trained for this. It was the greatest thing ever.
Oh, there will be definitely a lot more of that because when G shows up, laughter is sure to follow. This week, we are joined by 20-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier, 2-time Bassmaster Angler of the Year, former FLW Tour winner, former Bassmaster Open winner from Guntersville, Alabama, the incomparable G-Man, Gerald Swindle, joins me this week on...
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
New year, well, same old show, but welcome back. Welcome one, welcome all, friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course you, my humpers. Happy hump day to all of you, and welcome into the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 244th edition of the Mercer Podcast, and this is the first one we're shooting in 2026. So happy New Year to all of you. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday, and your new year is off to a great start. Regardless of where it's at, I hope that this next hour and a bit gives you a bit of a reprieve from the real stresses of the world, because clearly there are some, and that's what this show is. I mean, I've missed you guys. It didn't totally disappear. New season of Facts of Fishing kicked off on Outdoor Channel and Sportsnet 360. Make sure you're watching that each and every week. I appreciate if you do. Also, we continue to upload Facts of Fishing episodes every Monday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. So make sure you're checking that out. I would appreciate that. And now we're back here. I mean, we had a wonderful holiday. Some people say they have a hard time shifting her down. Like, I don't know if I could ever retire. I'm very good at relaxing, and I have really enjoyed relaxing with my family. We played a lot of Golden Tee. I got Golden Tee for Christmas, and which some of you might not even know what Golden Tee is, and some of you are like, yes, Golden Tee. It was an incredible game back in the day, and it proves that graphics don't matter for the fun of a video game, because I got Golden Tee for Christmas, and I have blisters on my hand from spinning that wheel. But it was a good time, and I hope you guys all had a good time. And now it becomes time to bring the show back. And, you know, when you start off a new season, you want to start off with something strong. You want to come out of the gates firing. And that's exactly what we're going to do here this week, because we have a great guest that I'm so thankful that he chooses to come on this show as often as he does. I'm so thankful, even more thankful that he chooses to be himself on this show, be really open, really honest. And we go a lot of directions in this show. We talk about a lot of different things, and I can keep talking, or we can just jump right into it. And I think you'd probably rather just jump right into it. So let's do exactly that right now. Without further ado, let's travel all the way to Guntersville, Alabama, where we will be kicking off the Elite Series season in about a month's time. But this time, we're traveling there to hook up with the one and only Gerald Swindle. It just hit me, G. I mean, everybody this time of year, you get so tired of hearing it. New year, new me. Yeah. But literally, it is new you. Like there's parts in your body that you didn't have. This really is a new you.
Yeah, not new year, new me. It's new year, new me, new knees. You know, I was in the OR singing to the people. They didn't think it was funny. On the last surgery, I sang "All I Want for Christmas Is a Brand New Knee."
Well, you got it.
I got two of them, baby.
That's no joke. I talked to. I don't know a lot of people have had their knees replaced, but when you were going through it, I talked to somebody at a place that I go to, and he had like, this old dude's had everything replaced, his hips replaced, everything. And he said I'll do 5 hip replacements before I do knees. He said, it's not easy.
No, I don't understand how a lot of people do it, man. But you know what? I'm not bow-legged anymore. All them people that had all those bow-legged jokes, they got to write new material, dude. Well, write new, because my wife said, it's so funny, you're not bow-legged anymore. I mean, I don't have parentheses anymore. I'm just like a explanation point, just straight up. Just
So are you taller now?
yes, a little taller, got some of my height back, took the bow out. So I had to change the way I flip. I can't bring the jig all the way between my legs. I'll have to brush it off to the side now. Everybody always goes, good God, boy, you couldn't hem a hog up in a ditch. You ain't got that joke no more, okay?
Well, you got fixed. It's good. It's good.
Fixed, medicine's man, we joke about it, but I mean, this guy does he does about 8 of these a day on a surgery day. He's a TOC group out of Huntsville at a high-end doctor deal. Like, he does one every 45 minutes, full knee replacement.
Gosh.
And what did it take, honey? 3 hours from the time I went back, 3 hours from the time they take you back, do the surgery, wake you up, put you back in a room. And within 2 hours, you're up on your feet.
Dang.
Now, I mean, like Rick. I mean, was it Chappelle said that about when in his show? Who was it that he said? Rick James. He said cocaine's a hell of a drug. Percocet's a hell of a drug. My first surgery, I had it. Like, I didn't, I knew my knees were bad, and I knew it was going to be pretty bad. So I woke up and I kind of get my senses about me. And they did keep me overnight, which they don't normally do because I had that compartment syndrome, my first ever knee meniscus surgery. So it was a little dangerous. He goes, hey, we want to keep you just for the comfort of Leon, not sending you home. We'll stay at the hospital. Well, the next morning I had to do therapy. So I, kind of drugged up next morning. I have to get on this walker and I'm trying to scoot my way down to therapy. And I'm telling you, Dave, I'm hurting. Like, I'm tapped out to a 10, and I get in there and there's this woman in there. She has no idea how bad she pissed me off. There's a little woman in there. She's over there just like she's knitting a blanket in church or something. She's just doing her foot. She's just had her knee replaced too. She's just doing her therapy. She's just looking around, and I was thinking, oh, you heifer. Oh, you heifer. So I was like, there's no way that's happening again. So after my second surgery, I told Leon, I said, that woman ain't getting me today. Like, I did better the second time on that first day of therapy, but it's a good mental challenge. I thought honestly I was ready for it. And because your schedule, even just emceeing, okay. So say you're not competing all 7 days. Your schedule still, you don't have many years where you have 10, 12 weeks completely free. You know what I mean? There's some obligation, whether it's your show. So finding that time frame has always been hard. But it had gotten so bad the last couple of years, man, and we made a lot of jokes about ice baths and everything, but I had tried everything. So I had gotten to the point I look forward to it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I welcome this new pain to try to get better. And it was nothing but props to Lulu, because it's been tough, man, because like, that first 6 or 7 days, I had to have help getting out of bed. You got to get you stood up. The pain's there. You're taking medicine. And, of course, by the time we got over it, like, we got to 5 weeks. And I made some huge gains on my first knee surgery between, like, with week 3 and 4, wasn't it, honey? Like, it just really took off. And by week 4, I'm actually walking around at my farm, not hiking in the woods, but I'm getting around pretty good, And then by the time I got to feeling pretty good, I cut some firewood. I'd hunted a couple of times in a ladder stand. I'm feeling pretty good. Then I go do it again. So like that part, I think mentally I was not quite as prepared for is to start over.
Yeah.
I felt like, man, you'd been climbing this mountain. Man, old Dave was almost at the top, and then we slipped in the mud and fell all the way to the bottom. And you're looking at me like, we're not climbing it again. So, but I did talk to Warden to let me out of the house yesterday.
I saw that. You were driving your boat via cane. It was awesome.
Dude, it's a new TH hot foot with a cane. So I had to do all these promises. I'm like, I had to go show where I could get in the boat. So we're staying in our rental, which is right beside our other house. So the dogs have their $350,000 kennel. They're staying by themselves in their other house, and we stay over here. So I have to go down to my boat, and I have to prove to her I can get up on the Phoenix steps, and I get in the boat. She goes, okay. So then I got to promise her I won't get on pad. I won't leave here. I won't fish. I felt like I was in the 6th grade. I had this whole to-do list. And then we get down there, and I was like, maybe nobody will see me, because I'm on a cane, and it's kind of embarrassing, and you get out of the truck, and I'm gimping around there, and I get up almost in the truck, and a guy comes down and take his boat out, and he's just dead looking at me and goes, gee, man, you dedicated. And I'm like, oh, you caught me, bro. I got my cane. And we finally got put in, and I called her right back. I said, hey, you need to come put the trailer back in the water. She said, what? I said, left the motor toter on first day at school. I said, I'm a little nervous. So I got to idle from 12 to she picked me up about 4:30. And my knees didn't like it, but it was good mentally for me. And I think she knew that. She said it coming, only lived 1 minute from the ramp. She said, I knew mentally it'd be good for you. Cause everybody's practicing, and all these young kids are already so much better than you, like most of us with scope and what they're going to do. And they have so much time. So laying here, I've got nothing but time to think about that.
Yeah.
So just idling made me feel like, okay. Now, if there's anything you need to know in Seabo Creek until you die, I know where it is. I idled stuff that you shouldn't even be idling. I think mentally sometimes we got to do that. I'm sure we're like in your situation, you probably get cabin fever.
Yeah.
And there's times where you're just like, hey, I got to go out here and do something, even if it's not that productive. I got to do something.
Well, especially when you've been there's cabin fever, and then there's cabin fever like you can't, like, there's people that I'd like to go, but they know they can. You know what I mean? But with you're in a situation where you've known, like, hey, I can't. I guess I'm in the same situation. I got to drill holes to get to my fish, G. So
I think mentally, though, for me, Dave, it was a big hurdle mentally for me the last couple of years to have to tell myself, you can't do that.
Yeah. I've
never been that person, and my wife will tell you, if I'm going to do something and I'm stubborn, man, I put about a week before my first surgery, I put up a giant muddy condo shooting house on top of another frame, 10 foot in the air, by myself. Like and she knew it. She said, I knew when you went up there, your stubborn ass was going to do that. I've never been a guy that says you can't do something, but the realization about, like, did I put in for an elk tag this year? No, because I knew I can't walk the mountains like I used to, and that bothers you as a person, because all of a sudden you look at things you can't do. And then I had a real embarrassing moment. It was at the Toyota Owners Tournament. It was in October, wasn't it, honey? The end of October. And it was busy. You know how that thing is. We had a great crowd at Gunners when we're doing all the gifts, and the B.A.S. staff is there, and we're passing out, and we're moving and shaking. And I'm telling you, at that time, I had gotten really bad. I had not been able to bend my left leg in probably 10 or 12 weeks. I couldn't bend it at all. So it was just almost straight. And I had tore the hamstring on the back of it from the knee being so worn out it was wearing on it. So during the ultimate anger, I took a steroid pack, a 7-day steroid pack in 3 days, just so I could fix that. Like I was limping on empty. And Lisa, right during that deal, she said, gee, is there any way you could run inside, get on stage up in the pavilion and announce if anybody hadn't registered, come back out? And I'm like, sure. And I went up to the stage, Dave, and there's no stairs.
Oh.
And of course, it's packed. That whole room was full, and there's only a few stragglers left outside. So I got up on my butt cheek and tried to get up, and I realized I couldn't get up. And that was I did finally get up. I had to get over on my kind of one knee and then push up my arm and get up, but it was embarrassing. Like, it bothered me. I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm not doing that again. I told him over, I said, I don't like that feeling. I've let this go too far, and there's just no need in being this miserable. But of course, Lance Peck was cutting on with me. He goes, why'd you wait so long to do it? I said, well, Toyota Owners Tournament, and had a $500,000 tournament. I had all these other obligations, and a lot like yourself, I don't cancel them.
Yeah.
I've never missed a day of tournament fishing that I've been eligible for in my 30-year history of bass, except for one day, and it's the day my brother died. The day after my brother died, I was driving home, and I had qualified to fish a day. I've never took a medical leave, so I'm a stubborn, whatever that is. I don't like to miss or obligate to something and back out. So I waited till it was all done to start on it.
So how bad has this? I know, obviously, like you said, you could see your knees are bowed, but I don't think people understand. Like, so how bad a pain have you been in up to this point, like the last number of years?
From 2016 is when it started going downhill, but I'm going to say from 2019 to now, every day, a scale of 1 to 10, I was a 7 to 11. Because I was complete bone on bone. That's why my knees kept bowing out, because all that bone was crushed and wore out, and they were falling, pushing out. So I had no way. My meniscus, I had none of that. It's all gone.
Damn.
And like when we would go up north, everybody's like, "Man, we're going these smallmouth lakes." Woo! And I'd be like, "Arr." Because when you stood out there in the wind and the Dave, you could feel my knees. They would shift apart like that.
Yeah.
When the wind would go. So those were they were fun tournaments, but they were a different challenge for me.
Yeah.
Like when we would go, no excuses. I mean, those tournaments, trust me, the Johnson brothers are still going to whip my ass whether they had good knees or bad knees. That don't matter. But like, even going to like the St. Lawrence when everybody's like, "Man, I'm going out to the lake." And I was like, because sitting in that boat, pushing that hot foot, every time it hit, they would pull apart. You just found yourself not doing a lot of stuff that you're like, you just got to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
So we dealt with it. It was a good mental challenge, and we've tried everything, man. And we spent a lot of time in ice tanks. And I tell anybody out there, if you're having knee issues like that, it's only healthy to put it off so long. It really is. And then the damage becomes greater than the fix. Because I cut up with this surgeon, and when I first met him, we really searched to find the right doctor, because you know how serious this stuff can be. I hear people all the time say, "Man, I had knee surgery, best thing that ever happened." But I also met a guy at a fishing show that was 40 years old, and he's in a wheelchair with one leg. I said, "What happened?" He said, "Got my knee replaced, got infected, he cut my leg off." So, in your mind, you're thinking, you got to have the right doctor. So we met this doctor and all that, and I told him, I said, "I'm going to ask this guy." So he come in, I said, "Dr. Parks," I said, "you do my left leg." I said, when I wake up, if you tell me that it wasn't in the top 5 worst you ever done," I said, "I'm pulling my own man card. Like, I'm just going to pull bitch card. You're just not a man anymore. You're weak." So when that was over, I asked him and I said, "Top 5? He said, "Top 3. I said, "Yeah, it was bad." So this right leg, I could bend it a little, so I'm like, "Yes, right one's going to be easier, so I'm smart. I'm going to try to start rehabbing strength on it before I have it when I'm doing my left one." So I'm going in the whole time, dumb me, thinking this right one's going to be a cake walk. Me and Dave's got this. It'd be like emceeing a 6-boat club tournament, nothing to it. And I woke up and I said, "Hey, Doc, how was that one?" He said, he said, "You beat the other one." I said, "What?" He said, "It was worse than the other one."
Wow.
I said, "What?" So now I'm understanding that has put me through a lot of the extra. There's a lot more that has to be healed now, even when they go in and fix it. So like the lady I was joking about that was whooping me in therapy, he says, people like that, they go through life, they get hurt, their knee's kind of bad, and they just replace it. Their recovery time can be pretty short because it's so long damaged, and then of course the people in the hospital are like, "Man, why ain't you done this sooner?" And I was like, y'all know people that fish for a living don't have like an alternate. We don't have a backup.
I've been busy.
I don't have a replacement. I can't say, "Hey, Mercer, can you stand in for them northern tournaments for me?" Because trust me, I'd have let you. Hey, I would call Lisa and said, "Hey, Dave's going to be my alternate, and he's going to smoke them smallmouth for me." But, you don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
Today's high-tech fishing world can be a real pain in the neck, especially if you're running the wrong mount. Beat Down Outdoors, they bring the graph to you. And they support this podcast and care enough about you to make this a short ad read. Check out Beat Down Outdoors. Now back to the show.
I think I'll be fine, dude. I mean, we timed it. I have 6 weeks exactly from the second knee surgery to the first day of practice for the Elite Series at Gunnersville. So in 6 weeks on my other knee, I had got in a 20-foot tree stand hunting. I was feeding deer. I cut some firewood. Now, I wasn't running, but I was getting around pretty good. So I still think I'll be better than I was.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm starting to lean into this whole sitting down and fishing idea. I think Fritz might have had it figured out the whole time. Don't you? Like, I don't see nothing wrong with that now.
I mean, it really doesn't seem to. It's a cool thing on the elites, though. I will say that it blows me away. Like when we get to the Great Lakes, hey, a butt seat can save your life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not but it is weird the amount of guys that don't put them in. Like it is almost
It's an ego thing.
It's an ego thing. Yeah,
they think you're weak if you put it in. But I also look back now and I look at the guys like Tucker Smith, which I put in one of the top 3 or 4 scopers in the world, hands down. The kid's just fisherman wise. You always see him with a butt seat.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you watch that generation, they figured out, just go ahead and lean back on it and troll around. But the older guys were like, you put that seat in, you need to be in the ladies circuit. And I'm like, no, not really. Cause you're just all over the place, you know? So I'm going to embrace my inner sitting down self, you know? And I did tell Lulu that I said, Gunnersville's going to be an old scope tournament. I said, you know, you can sit down and throw a DT6. I said, I don't feel like you're going to lose much of an advantage there, even if you're still in some pain. You know, you take your time. It may actually help you fishing.
Slow you down.
It may slow you down enough to not be in a panic. And sometimes that'll be good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and at least you're somewhere where you're comfortable. Like, I mean, you don't have to, you're sleeping at home. Like it is set up good that way.
It's set up good for me because even at Lake Martin, we're only 3 hours from Gunnersville. So for the first 2 weeks, if something bad happened, man, I can get back to the doctor. And on a personal note, my family, my mom and dad's health, my mom's health is really, really declining. And I honestly didn't think my mom would see Christmas, and she did. So that's always in the back of your mind that the first couple of weeks, and even the third week, I have a championship, the NPFL championship on Smith. So most of February, I'm going to be in Alabama, which is kind of comforting to me that I could get home, I could get to the doctor. So out of all the years, that's one thing about waiting. I think it worked out pretty good for us here.
So when should full recovery be? Like when do you think you'll be high kneeing?
They say it could take up to a year.
Yeah, they say some people it could take up to a year to get to 100%. But
Gosh.
like bending, like this morning I measured bending on my left knee, and like 130 bending it backwards is really good, and I'm at 124, 125. So that, I mean, now that last little bit may take a year, but some of it is how hard you want to push yourself in therapy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think a lot of people that I watch do therapy, and I would be the same way, dude. Like if I didn't have fishing and I didn't have all the obligations, I promise you, I'd have done therapy because it sucks. I like O. Jackson, the guy that does my therapy, but he's a bitch. He makes me cry. I like, his job is to make you hurt. And people get tired of going there and hurting. So I think they quit therapy early. As soon as they get where they can walk and they're like, all right, I'm pretty good, they quit. So I don't think they ever get that full recovery, because to continue that, every day I'm not in therapy, I feel pretty good. But like this morning I had therapy, and dude, tonight's going to be rough.
Yeah.
So you see mentally why the average Joe that they really driven to come back into that line of moving and be competitive and all that agile, trying to move around, you just get where you're comfortable and just quit. You're just like, all right, I can do what I got to do walking like this. So I still think therapy, I think 6 months, I think I'll be as good as I'm going to get. But I actually think in 6 weeks going into Gunnersville, I think if everything goes well, I'll walk where you won't even know I ever had surgery. Like there will be no limps. There's none of that. Only thing that changes then is how fast you bend down, because it's fake. Like the first time I ever leaned my knee up against something, I told Leon, I said, if this is what it's like when women have boob jobs, this is weird. I leaned my knee up against the ladder stand. It was like, I don't know what it is. Like it's that different pressure feeling. So that's going to take a little. So the doctor said, he said, you just have to be careful, like getting down the lip fish on your one knee. I said, no, I'm just going to go up one size in that sunlight and boat flip them all. I'm just not.
That's what you've been doing the last 2 years.
Actually, Leanne's over there hollering, that's what you've been doing for 2 years. She edited a video and I'm boat flipping everything. She said, good God. I said, hey, it's too hard to get down. Just boat flip them all. Chasing them around on the floor is easier than chasing them around out there. So I'll just pull a Fisher and I and just boat flip me a 9-pounder in there like he did at Okeechobee.
Yeah.
Just boat flip a 9. He weighs 121 pounds soaking wet, and he just going to boat flip a 9 on in here like, it ain't nothing to it.
It really seems like, I mean, you've known that kid for a while, but it really feels like what you just said is kind of what professional fishing is to him. Ain't nothing to it. Like,
no. And he means no disrespect. Like him and his Fisher's dad and myself have been really, really considered one of my top 5 friends I've ever had in life since I was 19, 20 years old. And let me tell you something. Everybody says this. His daddy can catch him, son. Let me tell you something. If you turned him loose back before scope, Ryan fished a year of the opens with me. Him and I almost won the first ABT 100 they ever had on Lay Lake. Him and I both had COVID and a fever, and we only lost by 2 ounces. Like, this boy can fish. So he spent a lot of time with Fisher getting him to there, and through high school. And then I took Fisher a lot through high school, like all that. But like once he become, I'm going to tell you this, I put Fisher as one of the top 5 scopers in the world, hands down. You name them all, and I'm going to put my money on him every time. Because the way he thinks mentally, and like you said a minute ago, like it's no big deal, he's not cocky, because his daddy will beat the ever-loving crap out of him. Like if he come off like that, and he knows G will too, his mama thump his head. I called him like at Hartwell. This was with that deal he just won to make the Classic.
Yeah.
So him and his dad practiced, and I called him. We're sitting there talking. His dad's on speakerphone. We talking deer hunting. His deer moving up there. Like, we don't get it. Like, we're just bull crapping. And I said, I call Fisher Little Gills. That's my new nickname for him, Little Gills, because he's like a 14-inch bass. Them little gills, he's just all over the place. So I said, that's his nickname now, is Little Gills. I said, Little Gills going to catch him? And he hollered. He said, Fisher, G wants to know if you're going to win. And dude, it was just, matter of fact, he said, yes, sir, I am. This was after the first day of practice. I said, he said, I figured him out. He said, I could have had about 24 today. He said, I'll win. Not, hey, get your cameras and watch me show out. It was so calm. It was weird. You know what I mean? Not that cocky you expect, but just very sure of himself that, yes, sir, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And very disappointed when he won that he didn't catch him good yet. I said, Fisher, he said, they just didn't bite, G. So he come back. He won back-to-back tournaments last weekend. They did a big 2-day tournament at Smith. Him and his buddy had 35 pounds in 2 days at Smith. Left there, run down to Lake Martin, practice today, jumped in a $3,000 tournament Saturday. Well, they won it. Come on home. Like, he goes everywhere and just thinks he's going to win. So they said, who's going to win the Classic? I said, well, hell, Fisher. He don't think he shouldn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's exactly what you said. It's just like he knows what the Elite Series is because he's worked so hard to get here.
Yeah.
Now, this is a kid, I'll give him this. A lot of these younger kids and a lot of old guys, we give them crap. We like to joke with them, but a lot of them are driven to go fishing. They'll go. Now, you and I, different day. When we were that age, we were probably mad financially. We couldn't go every day, or we would have went every day. But now that boy fishes every day.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to it. So he knew what it was like to get here, but to him, it's just another tournament on Tennessee River.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, because he's not the only one, there's others. I mean, there's guys who aren't.
There's many coming.
I mean, they say it nonchalant, but part of me wonders, is that like an evolution of the sport in the way that, like, I've kind of joked about this forever, but dude, for the last 15, 20 years, you talk to anybody after an Elite Series tournament meeting, I mean, they'd be lucky if they catch a bass. Like,
you talk
they'll
to Scott
straight up lie to
Canterbury,
you.
You think if you talk to Scott Canterbury after practice, you would think someone stole his equipment, that he has no bites, no baits, that he don't even know why he's going out there. You know what I mean? Like, it's always what you say. Like, even myself, even if I'm catching them, I'm not going to lean over and go, Dave, I'm about to blast them. Nope.
Yeah. But it's almost like other sports now. It's getting like, if you said to the starting quarterback of whatever team, whether they win or lose, before that game, you say, how are you going to do today? We're going to win. Like, that's the attitude and in fishing, it's been weird where it's almost been shunned upon to say that.
Even as dominant as Van Dam was in his peaks, and even, I look at every angler, Skeet, Ike, myself, and Hackney, Faircloth, you was around when all of these guys would go on rolls, even myself. You would have a year or two where that guy, you'd like this, they can't do any wrong. Nobody ever was like that. Even Van Dam, even when he was blasting them, he never said, now he would tell you, hey, I go there thinking I could win.
Yeah.
But some of these young guys tell you, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. So at first I took some of it as being cocky, and some of it is, but like the more I've got to know a few of these young guys like Fisher, he ain't cocky. I asked the boy, "You going to win?" And he said, "Yes." Yeah, he said, "Yes, sir, I am going to win, G." And guess what? He won. He understands what he's looking at on that screen, Dave. And when he gets the certain amount of bites and he knows what to do, I think in their mind, and it should be, they do know they're the best at that. And it's very consistent, and and the way they understand it is what's fascinating.
How so? Like, how do they understand
I
it
fish
different
with Fisher
than
a lot.
you?
Like I'm gonna keep using Fisher as an example because he's one of the young kids. I would love to be able to go with Easton Fothergill, and like I'd like to see some of these other guys do it. But I've been in a boat with a lot of great scopers. But like when you were Fisher, it's just like he looks at the screen different. I don't know how to explain it. Like he interprets that software totally different than you do. It's the craziest thing. And his dad fishing with him all the time. And I said, "Ryan, what are you going to do?" He said, "I'm going to take my binoculars, I guess, and look for deer on the woods and turkeys." He said, "I just wait for Fisher to say, 'Daddy, here's a 5-pounder, get ready.'" He'll tell you, and you say that at Okeechobee.
Yeah.
This 6-pounder right here, I'm going to get him. So, like, he interprets the weight of the fish, the style. I don't think he sees the screen in a straight line like we do. We think we're looking straight out, and somehow in his mind, I think he processes it. He processes live sonar almost in a perspective mode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the visual light, which way that he'll tell you which way he'll be. He says, "Swimming to the left, swimming to the left." And I mean, as soon as he pans on him, he'll tell you which way he's swimming. And I'm like, that's a lot of time and effort. Light scope, like Mega Live, whatever. Okay. Irregardless, there's guys who have perfected that.
Oh, yeah.
Where it is deadly to watch. And the patience, what I'm fascinated with though, Dave, Fisher's 19. At 19, if you and I lived by each other, first off, we'd have both been in jail. We'd have had a track record.
Truth.
But we would have thrown nothing but spinner baits and buzz baits and whopper ploppers. You know what I mean? We got to be entertained. We're reeling stuff in. I didn't have that kind of patience that Fisher displays at 19. Very patient. Where if he ain't caught one in 3 hours trolling.
But I don't think they think of it as, there's one of the biggest differences. You perceive what he has as patience. I think if you got inside his mind, and I'm putting words out there, but this is just my experience with people in Fisher's category, as you explain him as a scoper. To do it any other way seems impatient. Like
it seems dumb.
You're talking about throwing baits because you're, but to them it's the exact opposite. It doesn't seem like patience. It's like, well, dude, that guy's got patience. He throws a frog and just hopes. I mean,
so that's what I'm saying. Their mindset's different, and I don't want anybody to take this wrong. I'm not saying that all our great scopers out there can't fish. That's so over. People say that.
Yeah,
Tucker Smith proved that wrong. I mean, there are some guys that are great scopers that are awesome fishermen. Now, are there guys that are really, really great fishermen in this world that struggle to win or be angler of the year with scoping? Yep, I'm one of them. I'm going to admit that. So I would also say that there's guys that are, some of the guys that are really good with scoping don't want to admit it, but they're going to struggle to go back and fish. I can admit my weakness. You know what I mean? Like I know where it lies. But there's guys like Fisher and them that he's going to be okay without it. You know what I mean? He spent a lot of time on the water. But his interpretation and his patience, what I call patience, like it's nothing for him to fish a weightless bait 25 foot deep on the bottom. Weightless. Like it means nothing. Me? Nope. I'm out of chapstick. I'm running out of sunflower seeds. I've sang every Bob Dylan song I know. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't how I was. But he will tell you, why would I waste time doing anything else? I know if I get 5 bites like this, I'm going to have a dirty 30.
Yeah. It's a whole different perception. And it's wild to see because I don't think they thought this is different. This is like, it's just like, why would you do it the way you're doing it? Like it's matter of fact to them. And I think
very matter of fact, like why would I go throw a DT6 in the grass all day and catch 9 fish for 21 pounds when I can do this all day and have my best 5-way 28?
So you said that you believe that some of the scopers will struggle this year.
I think
What
that's a fair
percentage
statement.
of change do you think we'll see?
I think we'll see some, and I know somebody's probably already they're probably already pre-reading your podcast through the telewaves, typing. He's just mad. I didn't say. I'm telling you, there's some great scopers that are great fishermen. For God's sake, Patrick Walters will whip you with a candy cane. It don't matter what he's got. You know what I mean? So just everybody breathe. I'm just saying, Jason Christie, myself, Hackney. You look at our age group. I don't have trouble telling you. I've become a pretty good scoper for an average Joe. Like when people with me, they're like, man, you way, way, way better at all this than what we thought. But I'm not good enough. See, I'm not good enough. But I do know when I go that way, I'm not going to be a dominant. You're just trying to hang in there. I think some of the guys are going to struggle a little bit more, and that was one of the things I enjoyed about the MPFL last year, Dave. I don't want to talk leagues or whatever. I don't think it matters. I think
It's all good.
Long as people are fishing, dude. I'm kind of like that with Phoenix. You know, people say, man, can you sign this Skeeter hat? I'll sign any hat you got, man, as long as you're on the water. Because if you're never on the water, I'm never going to talk you into running to Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
So kind of like fishing. I don't care what league you start in or what you do. If you're not out there, you're never going to be the next guy. So you got to have that. So the MPFL for me was an opportunity to fish without it. And even myself, dude, it was so weird in practice, Dave. In first 2 hours, oh God, you're like, what? Like you're looking down and you're like, you go to fish these docks and you think, well, I could just look under there and take off. Now I go over there and I'm like, all right, I got to make the cast. I got to fish the jig. So what you do is you really get reminded of the process for finding fish without being able to look forward is an art, and it is slowed down. You know what I mean? Like it takes longer to process that. It takes a lot longer to fish a dock with a jig without scope because you got to make the cast to know you're fishing it right. So the first 2 hours of every practice in the MPFL, it was really weird to me. And then once I caught a few, the juices would kind of get flowing and the magic kicks. So so what I'm saying is I think guys that's never been out there without it, and I know a lot of guys will say, I catch them without it all the time, but you got it on, okay? You know what I mean? It's like you got your teddy bear right there. You got your blankie. When you ain't got your blankie and you look down and it's just a frame sticking up there, you're like, oh, God, I don't know if there's any out here or not. I feel the grass, but it sure be nice to know if there's any bass in the grass. So I think the process of what it's going to take, it just takes a little longer to grind it out. Now, I think some of those guys will make great adjustments.
Yeah.
Do I think a few is going to struggle? Yeah. Do I think we're going to see a drastic turnover in the points? No. You know, I don't think people think, well, it's, you know, no. I think you're still going to have, you got your heavy hitters, but you're going to see tournaments where they get more punches in. You know, you're going to see a guy like Christie and Lowen, Wes Logan, myself, or somebody. They're going to have a few more punches in tournaments, maybe where they didn't have it, that levels them out, and the ones that they do have it. So I think you're going to see a tighter point race, but I don't think you're going to see this huge turnover. I don't think Chris Johnson. I think you could let him use this for FFS. You know, somebody asked me the other day, to say, who you think the best fisherman in the world is right now? I said nothing against Jacob Wheeler, because Jacob Wheeler's hands down probably the number 2 fisherman in the world, if not arguably the number 1. But Chris Johnson, in my opinion, is the number 1 fisherman in the world.
Why?
Back-to-back AOYs. In a time and place when that's unheard of. 10 years ago, back-to-back AOYs was something we strive for. You know, Kevin done it. There's been a few anglers do it, you know what I mean? But when, since FFS has become a player, not a dominant, not this Satan, since FFS have become this strong in all circuits, has an angler really threatened to win back-to-back AOYs like that? That's a rarity. There's a few guys that have had good years, but dude, he catches them everywhere, bro. Frogging, flipping, finessing. He, to me, watching him, total package 100%. Probably toughest angler in the world.
But Wheeler's won a bunch of AOYs over there. Like he's won like 4 to the last 5, hasn't he? Doesn't that?
He has. So I know J-Dub, he can catch him now. But just like me watching Chris Johnson, like it was so funny because I fished by him. And geez, just so you know, the only reason I corrected you there and said that
is because if I don't, the internet's going to be like, he just didn't
Well, they're gonna
defend
be like,
Wheeler because he
"Dave,
doesn't fish
them
bass.
damn Canadians, them damn Canadians
That
is up
too,
there
yes,
sticking
of course.
together." And I'm like, no. I'm like, you got to look at the whole Canadian staff that's come out. We got little sawed off. We got Cooper Goliath. I call him the Goliath. You know, he's a giant. You got Gussie. You got both Johnson brothers. You see the level of fishermen coming from Canada, but to see Chris from lily pads to flipping mats to whatever, he seems very comfortable, Dave.
Oh,
Very.
yeah.
And he's got that. I really got to know him a lot more last year because we was in the same flight a lot. And just that kind of smile, like, you know, just he's got that weird, don't get bent out of shape.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's scary. That's what Big Show Scroggins, you know. So I look at guys like that. So like I fished by Chris in the Ultimate Angler, and we're flipping the same grass mat, flip by each other first day, second day, and this is just a little strip of grass, 30 yards wide. Chris is on one side, I'm on the other. I pull in there at the end of the second day, and I'm pitching, and I catch one. We're fishing around there, and Chris catches one, and we start talking, and he's cutting up with me because I normally don't fish around Chris Johnson. Here's the weird thing about fishing that I think people never understand. I have seasons where I don't hardly ever see certain anglers. You know what I mean? I started to see them on the water. So for the first year or two I was out here, I never really seen Chris on the water. But for this last year, every tournament, every day, every practice day, I seen Chris Johnson. So he was cutting up with me out there, and he goes, "I'm going to have to go back to Canada to get away from you." He said, "We see each other every day." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "The difference is you're AOY, and I'm 79th in the points." I said, "That's the difference." And we left there. Here's the difference in an AOY year, a mentality. We both leave there. We got like 10 minutes before check-in. So we both had laughing. We said, we're going to run down to check-in, stop and fish. I run down there and stop and throw around and miss a 12-incher. He stops, makes 4 flips, catches a 6-pounder, makes the top 50. That's an AOY year.
Yeah.
You can't explain that. We all run down there and stopped at some spot, but where Chris Johnson fished, he caught one. So I'm going to give him that. J-Dub and Chris Johnson, hands down.
Yeah.
To see Chris do it at that level in the elites, that's props, dude. I mean, and I know you got to be proud deep down inside. He is a Canadian.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's wonderful to see. I mean,
but he's staged out here enough now. I'm going to start claiming him as a redneck. I'm telling you, I could make that boy redneck. With 2 or 3 weeks down here, a couple of 10 boat rides and some chewing tobacco, Chris Johnson would be a redneck.
Yeah. I bet you could do it with Corey in about 3 days.
Corey just fill out the application and say, got it. So, like, coming into this year, like, every year, you're for your like MC, and you're probably thinking going into the season, you got some cool things. You got a lot of new cats to learn. So when people understand that watch you on stage, Dave Mercer memorizes all that. So when we're backstage and he's calling out the top 10, he's not reading that off a punch list like, hey, here's this guy. You study those anglers. Like, you got to sit at home and do a lot of studying. So you got 10 new ones coming in. Have you had, like, for you getting research on these 10 new guys, has it been hard? Like, I mean, the stuff's happening fast. Some of these cats are young.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the research happens. I mean, I had them all on the podcast after they qualified. And so there's kind of, that's kind of starts the process. But I'm not near as prepared as you would imagine. Gee, I haven't done the research yet. We're weeks away from the test. Why would I even be thinking about it so far?
I got several seminars to do, and everybody's like, you know what you're going to speak about? I'm like, nope, I'm just going to wing it.
I think I'll be there the day of. I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. But you joke about that, but you will know the history. You'll know where those guys come from, and I think that's a pretty good bit of studying. But out of all the 10 new rookies, there are a few guys that you look at and you're like, this ought to be interesting to watch. Not saying I ain't wanting you to pick favorites. I'm just saying, looking down through there, you're like, whew.
I think our entire rookie, like, I know that sounds like a set answer, but I'm telling you, if you look at our rookie class, like when I did the top 10 or the 10 rookie show, I was blown away by just how different everybody was, but how compelling their stories are. You know what I mean? Like, Fisher's an obvious story, but you also have Aaron Jagfield, who's from Michigan. Kid started in the kayak world, like literally made the decision. I'm going to buy a kayak and I'm going to fish these tournaments. If I do good in them, hopefully I can move to a bass boat. And now I'm on the Elite Series. Like, to me, that's amazing. Austin Cranford he's freaking Greg Hackney. Like, if you talk to him, you're like, I'm having a conversation. Like,
I got Hackney Jr. right here.
So there's just some great personalities coming, and some great young, you know what I mean? Like, you look at Pake South. I mean, I met Pake South when he was a little kid, and he was that little kid whose parents were like, hey, this guy's going to be on the Elite Series one day. And sure enough, he is. Like, they're one of the coolest pictures.
It's so weird, though. It probably makes you feel old. I mean, like me, I'm thinking about that, some of those scenarios with Fisher and some of these other young guys I know, and I'm like, it didn't seem like that long ago when Fisher was in the 8th grade and his dad's calling me going, hey, Fisher wants to know. But Fisher used to be real shy. Like, he wouldn't hardly say nothing. His dad say, Fisher want to know if you carry him, y'all want to go flipping. He wants to learn to flip. He wants to do this. So I still picturing that school kid with that long hair, and then all of a sudden he's calling me going, hey, G, where do I need to stay at the Classic? I've made the Classic. And I'm like, that's weird, and they got you a room there, Hammer. You ain't got to worry about this. But in my mind, I'm like, you were just in the 8th grade, bro.
Time flies. It's a lot of things make me feel old, G. That's just one of the many things. But like my mother used to say, it's better than the alternative. As long as you keep aging, things are going okay.
I'd rather be laying on top of the ground as under, you know what I mean? But I think each year that goes by, from a competitor standpoint and an age standpoint, every year that goes by, that Elite Series is, from top to bottom, is tougher and tougher and tougher. So when I say Chris's like his accomplishments over the last 2 years, I'm comparing that, for me, watching the field and seeing how much harder it is to check to make the Classic, how much higher the weights are. That Elite Series roster, top to bottom, will skin your ass.
Yeah. Look at people who just unqualified. I mean,
yes.
Dude, Ben Milliken did not requalify. And we're talking about guys made multiple top 10s.
Yep.
Won an Open. I know that doesn't count for that, but I mean, did okay, qualified for a Classic through the Elite Series, and didn't it's no joke to stay qualified.
No, so I think as we progress along, we're going to see that field get tougher and tougher. We're going to see new baits, and I think I honestly think the fan situation, from just me talking and gathering and people coming up to me, I think the fans for Bassmasters are excited to see a few without it. To see the mix up. Not necessarily saying they don't like it or they just like the mix up. They like the drama brings to the scale of like, hey, okay, so now you ain't got it, you got it. I think it's going to be an exciting year.
Avco not only makes incredible outdoor clothing, but they care about anglers with their 10% pledge. Avco and the Shed family donate at least 10% of the company's profits to conservation and making fishing better. Now back to the show.
I just hope we can. I agree with you there. That's what I'm hearing. And I will say, even people that didn't like the coin flip show or whatever, here's my question to them. And I honestly went through this as a fan of the sport myself. Was I more excited to see the Elite Series after that show, or was I more excited before? And
afterwards,
100% afterwards. Everybody, because you want to see some answers on, I want to see what happens at Gunnersville. I want to see what happens on all these different bodies of water.
You seen Joe Lee making that video when they announced it live in his boat, and he starts celebrating like he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
just because dude, I don't normally get caught up in all that, and I found myself compelled by it, listening. It's very compelling. I'm like, okay, which ones are we going to have? Which ones are we not going to have? I don't know what the answer is in this sport. You know what? I'm with Humminbird, and I'm going to use my Mega Live. If they tell me I can turn it on, I'm going to sleep with it on. You know what I mean? I'm going to use it. But if this makes the sport more interact with the fans and it helps the growth, well, we got to lose. It ain't like we ruled it all out, but I do love the coin flip. And it was funny because guys like, why you like that? I'm like, because you can't rig a coin flip.
No.
It's in the wide open. I said, if you let the organization pick it, we're going to say, well, they picked the ones that Garmin wanted or Humminbird wanted or Phoenix wanted. But that coin flip you can't argue with. It just is what it is.
Yeah. No, I thought it all played out great. I mean, initially from the beginning, I wanted us to do a period, like kind of a power hour at the end of the day. But here's where I am now. And I didn't think about this from an angler standpoint, but there's a lot of anglers. And what I love hearing is anglers are excited because they're like, I just know what I got to do going it. Like there's been a weird thing where you've had the older anglers. It's feel like you guys have had to put one foot in the dock and one foot in the boat, and you ended up in the water because
every
you're
tournament.
like, I need to keep that bite honest. But now you're going to be like, hey, we're not going to have it at all. Great. I know the rules. We're going to have it. I know the rules.
And that when I say I enjoyed the MPFL, I think that was what I tried to express mentally, is because there wasn't no choices. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you're having for dinner, young man. Eat it or not. Like, I didn't have the buffet. And I feel like with Scope, I'm at the Chinese buffet and I'm going, shrimp, chicken, blackened chicken. What should I get? Like, you're struggling to. I talked to this about. I was talking to Van Dam this morning, and I said, I feel like some of the anglers for 30 years have been fishing, and we got this big old bag like Santa's, big old plastic bag full of knowledge and tricks and things that we've seen, and fishing cold water at Ross Barnett to Toledo Bend to Rayburn, and you got all these tricks in this bag, Dave, and we're toting it around. But really, in the last 5 or 6 years, you don't need to be cracking that bag open. I mean, you're going to get in trouble because you can't beat the program. Like, you can't beat that design of how that's set up. So I think now it's going to be cool when a guy gets somewhere. I'm not saying going to happen, but say we come to Gunnersville, water temperature drop down to 38. It's raining, it's cold, and it's muddy. It's going to be cool to see the Bill Lowens and the Christies, and you're going to dig at Hank Cherry. We're going to dig around in that bag and go, I've seen this one time before at Lake Hamilton, and this worked. So I love the fact that information process is going to come back and be delivered to the fans, like that figuring out part. So to me, it's a much bigger picture, and the more I've stayed away from it, like trying to see it, I think we're off to something cool for the fans. I think it's going to be a great storyline for you. You got to do live. It's hard to talk about that, but now that every other tournament, you got a different situation where you're going to look at your fantasy fishing team might look a little different. You think?
Oh yeah.
So I would ask some of the young anglers this, because nobody's ever happy. That's fishermen. We're just never happy. Santa Claus could have brought you a Lamborghini, and you would have wanted 12 of them. So I'm like, do you think anywhere in this industry, when B.A.S.S announced that there were some bait companies, boat companies, whatever else, sitting there on the threshold of whether to sponsor somebody or not, somebody locally they may really like that made the elites, and they're thinking he's a really good natural fisherman, maybe not the best scoper, so I don't know what we're going to get, and then B.A.S.S announces that. Do you think that could have swayed some of those companies to go back and say, you know what? I like the value in what I got in a West Logan guy that can do a little bit of both. Okay, so I don't think our guys could see that at right off the get go. Maybe sponsors are going to diversify their dollars over B.A.S.'s coin flip because it's going to determine some things.
Yeah. Here's my only hope for it. I just hope we get to a point of respect. Like I think it's been too long where it's, hey, listen. Not everybody's always been a crankbait fisherman, but guess what? Whether you threw a crankbait or not, you respected the guy that was the best at it, and the guy that was. And I just hope we don't get to the only negative of the one on, one off is we're going to leave Gunnersville, and whoever wins it, there's going to be people saying, yeah, but that weight he wouldn't even a top 10 with if they were allowed scope. And you know what I mean? Like we need to start respecting what we're seeing, because we're seeing is some amazing things, no matter whether it's with scope or without scope. We're seeing amazing things over and over. And for some reason, an angler like Kyle Welcher, what he did wasn't quite as amazing but what he did was freaking still amazing.
Yeah. I would almost, he's one of them guys, if we had to pick a top 5 in the world, he's going to be one of them I put in there. Like he's that good. He's that versatile. So, and I think I like the way you're saying that. Like I'd like to see the respect from all the way around. But I think as anglers, we need to look in the mirror. Like I made it a point over the last year and a half to make sure when somebody asked me anything about scope or the younger guys, I make sure that I try to reiterate how good I think some of these guys are. I'm going to make it a point that Tucker Smith knows that I think when it comes down to what he's good, like the stuff that he does, he's one of the top in the world, okay? So I'm not going to take that away from him. So I think the anglers have got to give respect to each other to make the fans follow in suit.
Yeah.
And I know the younger guys might not understand all the older guys, and they might not have fished against them their whole life, but go back and pick up a magazine. Bill Lowen's been catching them since Jake was a puppy. So, give that respect back. That guy gives you respect. I think that blends to the fan base, and we're all guilty of it. Old, new, we have to give that props off that guy's good.
Yeah, yeah, and you can respect something and still not like it.
I'm like, Peter T was the best Carolina rig fisherman I ever been around my life. I don't like throwing a Carolina rig, but I knew when it come to Carolina rigging, he about to skin you up. So I had my props for him. I didn't hate him for it. I didn't like doing it, but I knew at that technique, this guy was top of the game.
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing that has happened where people have somehow turned it into if you fish this way, you don't know how to fish. And that's
old and young. If you got any gray hair, you hate children. And if you're not a master scoper, you hate old people. I don't think it's like that, dude. I don't think it should be like that. I think we should all have the common goal. And the good thing is there's enough fishing around the country right now, Dave. If they don't want to try to be, and I tell anglers this, listen, man, if you don't want to fish that style, you don't have to try to make the elites. There's other leagues out here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that having more leagues is not good for the country. We need more opportunities for people to fish. There's only 104 of us in the elites. You know what I mean? Like, there ain't a lot of room. So we have more opportunities now. There's MPFL, there's BPT, there's Invitate. There's all kind of ways that there's some one of them leagues running a tournament like you should like.
Yeah. Yeah. So go do it. And the league thing is the same thing where, if I like this league, I have to hate this league. No, I love bass fishing.
I think that really was a stigma back in the day. And you and I talk about that some, but I think it's weird though, because behind the scenes, I see how much the guys from MPFL, the organization, how much they respect bass. You know what? They know that's the mothership. This is the throne over here. They have that respect. I think the fans sometimes want to think that each league hate each other.
Yeah.
It's really not like that, They're not. Most of them are really not in the same competition. They might be for the sponsor dollars, but they all have a different end goal, a different format to qualify for, different arrangements. So I'm hoping that with this and the way it works out, we see more of that. We see that people come. How about Big Daddy Russ Lane coming back? Come on,
yeah.
Big Daddy.
It's awesome.
Get us some Big Daddy love now, don't we?
Yeah, Big Daddy back in the house. It's.
I texted him several times, man, and told him how proud I was, because you're watching that guy. Because Van Dam and I, we was just joking this morning. I asked him, I said, dude, what's weird is you don't see many 50-year-old men in the EQs.
No.
And he said, I said, Russ Lane. You know what I mean? It's for him to go do that and show that he's still very versed and when I talked to him after it on the phone, he's very focused on what he wants to do. It's pretty impressive. It's a whole new Russ. It's hey man, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to have a good time. And after years of fishing, you got to be mentally happy. You couldn't do your job as an MC if this wasn't something you really enjoyed doing. If you was disgruntled and mad about everything, it's hard to talk good about everybody, because the time I got there, you just say, hey, this guy sucks, okay? He's been around a long time, and he don't have a blue trophy, so screw Swindle next. You know what I mean? It would be easy to be disgruntled, So I think with Russ and them, you see these guys rekindle that love and still be able to bring it. And I think it gives a lot of hope to people, that may have fallen out. It's I'm going to go back and do this.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I meant when I said about all 10 qualifiers. Look, yep. Russ Lane in there. You have Tristan McCormick, who's a guy who you would have assumed would have been there a bunch of years ago. He's one of my all-time favorites. I'm picked as a person and a dude. I like me some Tristan McCormick. He's a great guy. Great guy.
It's fun, you know, and he's one of them guys when you talk to, you can tell he's listening, but he's smart in the way of inquisitive, and he carries himself well. I thought him shaving his head was master marketing. I told him that later. Like, I don't know if y'all realize how brilliant that was when it was over. Now, the haircut was horrible. Big Daddy didn't do him no favors.
Oh, my God. He gave him the full-on Trip Weldon. I mean.
I just say he looked like Trip Weldon. When Trip would take that hat off, you know, Trip used to take that hat off and he'd push him glasses up and he'd say, "It's time for some housekeeping." And he'd lean into that mic. Trip Weldon was the only guy I knew that weighed 140 pounds and scared the shit out of every Elite Series guy out there.
Oh, it still does.
What if he was 300 pounds?
God.
Like, just Trip. Trip just get up there, and when the Trip spoke to you, when Trip called you, you'd be like, "Oh, God, what have I done? What have I done?" And he'd say, "Cuz," he'll talk to you a little bit, and you're like, "Oh, God, I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry."
He was great at his job. But you see how much stress there is. Every time I see him, he's like bounding now. You're like, what?
No.
Gosh, like
He
that
rode
is
by
a
and see
stressful
me in the
job.
parking lot a couple years ago. I fished ABT down there at Jordan, and he rode by the parking lot, him and his wife, and he's like, "Cuz, what you doing?" And he just giggling and like you see that monstrous load because he just didn't do it. He was a perfectionist at it.
Yeah.
And if he made a mistake, people might not ever realize this. If Trip thinks he made a mistake, and I will give Trip this, if he was wrong, he would come back and tell you, "Hey, I missed that right there," okay? Like, that's hard to do, man, a guy in his position. He was that guy. But if he missed it, it bothered him enough that he stuck. If he didn't want to do it again, like it bothered him, Dave. He didn't walk away from that and go, no, he didn't like that.
No, he was a perfectionist, and I think that's the tough thing about being a tournament director because you know, like people paint them like cops, but they have relationships. Like, I mean, Lisa doesn't want to DQ anyone. Like that's the funny thing. You see this stuff on social media about B.A.S. just getting drunk on disqual. Trust me, they don't want to DQ. They want to DQ anglers as much as you want to DQ sponsors.
Right.
I mean,
and Trip was like, you could tell if he had to do something like that, like it bothered him. But he was so like, Trip and I roomed together.
Yeah.
Here's the opens, and like we kind of went way back. He's a jig skipper from way back, and I was. So we always had this really good friendship leading into his tournament director. But once he become tournament director, like if we was at an event, Trip wasn't going to go eat dinner with me at night. You know what I mean? Like that didn't look good. So I would always give him that. He didn't ever want anybody to think he showed any favoritism. And just to be professional, he just wasn't going to go eat dinner with you.
Yeah.
And you know, he wanted to, because Trip loved to talk fishing and hunting and football. He'd just be right in the middle of it. But he's just like, no, I'm not doing it.
Even working with him, like I would talk to him about like whatever, you know, like just tournament rumors, like what the crap that you like. So and so, did you hear so and so's changing boat companies or whatever? Yeah. Like when we worked together, he'd be like, he would just not even engage in the conversation. Like it'd just be like you didn't even speak.
He would wait after the season was over to ask you about a technique or something. You know, like if he was around now, he would have waited till the season was over and he'd have come and he said, "Hey, cuz, what about that spiky cork ball there throwing? You know anything about that?" But that discussion wasn't going to have during the season.
No. It's wild. I missed Trip.
And tell the truth, he got on your ass too when you wasn't there on time.
Oh God, me and
Trip
was
not immune.
No, me and Trip, we had our relationship, and the good news is I love Trip. I mean, but our relationship was an emotional roller coaster. I mean, I showed up being the idiot that I am, and he's like his button down. It took a while. Yeah. And then when we came together, I mean, I hated. I joked with him when he told me about a year before his retirement was public. He said, "Dave, I'll let you know that I'm gonna step down," and you know, tells me his thing, and I'm like, "You can't leave," and he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "We just started getting along.
We just got our marriage, just got all the sweet. You just now trusting Trip that I'm going to be here every day before the weigh-in starts. Because for the first 2 years, like if Dave wasn't there 30 minutes early and did the pre-walkthrough, Trust me, if you was in the first flight back then, you could see when Dave got in trouble. If you weighed in a little early, had some fish dying, you seen Mercer get cracked by a shrimp.
No.
And he'd push him glass at me and go, what you mean?
But you can get
15 minutes ago.
you can get in trouble from him without even him saying a word. Like he's just got, dude. So he had arthritis and a bunch of. I mean, dude, hauling fish like they do is not great for your joints and stuff. So here's the funny thing. So for the longest time, I'd see him, and I'd be weighing, and we have like communication skills that you have on stage. You know what I mean? If somebody says stretch. That you have to tell somebody what that means. That means you need to stretch. You need to make up time. And if somebody wants you to speed up, they go like this. So I would watch Trip, and he'd be going like this, and I'd be like firing through the way, and I'm trying to.
You got 55.
I'm like, there's no way anybody can go faster. Like, so finally one day I'm like, Trip, I can't go any faster. He's like, no, pace is good. And I'm like, well, what is this? He goes, I got arthritis.
Working out my carpal tunnel, and you over there like you hitting that glass bowl of meth, calling them whites out there 16.5, 14 inch baby Mississippi coming in contact. He's like, it feels like, no, it's just my wrist, it's sore.
Riddle me this, G. You make a lot of people laugh. Who makes you laugh?
My wife just looked up over her glasses. Man, I don't know. There's a few people I find funny, and I guess I would ask you the same question, Dave. You're a very funny person. You're always laughing. Why?
Why? Why am I laughing?
Like, I mean, is it to me? I don't even think what I'm saying is funny. I'm just trying to get my words out, and people start laughing. So my intent is not to come there and make you laugh. I'm just so dumb I can't put my sentences together. But when people laugh, it makes me feel better. Does that make sense? It's like a medicine.
Yeah.
So some days, like when let's say the last couple of years, and this is gonna sound, don't think I'm weirdo, but like I'd have really tough days. And even at the end of this season, there was a lot going on around my life outside of fishing, and I was having some really tough days. But the few minutes on stage or when fans when I would make somebody laugh accidentally or on purpose, it was a medicine to me. You know what I mean? Like it was a healing.
Yeah.
That like, and I think growing up, it's just something I did to take myself from maybe me and my brother worked in the fields, and we wasn't wealthy, and a lot of manual labor and a lot of tough times, and to that smile and laughter was a way it took me somewhere else. But I never wanted to be funny. But once I realized this made people giggle, like I'm like, okay, and so for me, like watching stand-up comedy, they got to be really funny. Like I don't laugh like. I think there's brilliant writers, Chappelle, you're one of the few people that get me tickled sometime, like caught off guard, but it's pretty hard to do for the most part. But I do like Rodney Carrington's one of the comedians I've always liked, but it's weird. Like, of course, some people tell me jokes all the time, and I don't ever think they're funny, but I'm like, okay. My granddaughter tells me these dad jokes all the time, and I'm just giggle at her. I'm like, okay, baby. Okay. So, I mean, it's because you're that guy. You got the $1 million smile. You carry yourself like everything in the world is perfect. Is laughter a medicine sometime for you, or is it?
100%, 100%. Like I just feel like when you leave a room laughing, and I don't think it's just how dude, I don't watch scary movies. Like I literally don't. I don't watch like comedy. Like if things get too dramatic, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I don't want to put. I don't watch sad movies. I can create enough negative in my head.
I don't watch scary movies. I've never watched scary movies and all that. And I'm that guy. But I think making somebody smile sometime to me is just a little perk up. It's just like a little hit. There's a few people out there that make me laugh. Some people make me laugh that don't even know they're. Like the people that I really think's funny have no idea that they're funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes when Carl Jockins tell me he's had a really tough day, and the way they say it in Australian and the words they use, it makes me giggle.
Yeah. When he
And I don't
gets
want to laugh
mad.
at him. Yeah, I don't want to laugh at him because he had a bad day, but I'm like, that's funny.
It just doesn't sound quite as. That's why they can swear in Australia. They swear.
Yes.
They use the most offensive swear words in America. They just throw it in conversation, but it sounds nice because it ends with an upswing.
It's got that sexy accent. It's okay. It's okay. So, I don't know. I do think comedy, laughter I think it's good for the world. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know why I'm like that, dude. If I get out and go in a gas station and everybody goes to a gas station with me, most time runs, but like, I don't know why I get out, but when I leave there, somebody there's going to be laughing. Like I'm going in there and somebody, I don't care. Like, I don't know what I'm going to say or how it's going to come out, but Dan Quinn comes hunting with me and he's down here with me this year. And we go up to this little place called Brown's grocery and we get some sausage and biscuits and stuff at a gas station. They don't have that in Minnesota. So Dan's all about it. He's fascinated. He's like, he's at a museum. Like you can go get gas, brake shoes, some power steering fluid. They got a liquor store here and you can get a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
And it's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm always carrying on with the cashiers, and they'll get the laugh, and he carried on, and we leave, and Dan goes, "Really, dude?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm like, I've done that my whole life. I don't even think I'm doing it."
Yeah.
But I love to see the person behind the cash register smile, you know?
I think that I think it's more important today than ever. Because I think the world is like, look at people don't even look at each other. They throw their money on the counter. It's weird how the world is getting increasingly. Like, dude, we live in a time where when you were a kid, if somebody came to your door, the whole family ran to the door. Or
when
if the phone rang,
everybody run in the living room and holler, "Who is it?"
Now people won't answer the front door. If that, like, nobody told me they were coming over here. What is happening? Who's invaded my personal space?
I'm looking over the couch going, Lulu. Somebody knocked on the door a while back, and I won't say like what was going on. And my wife slid down the couch like she went into DEFCON 5, like a Navy SEAL. And she comes squirming down. She's squirming down the hallway, and I'm like, "What is it?" She goes, "Somebody's at the door." Didn't want them to see my shadow.
An unannounced visitor.
Yep. So I don't know. Maybe you and I are just cursed with liking a laugh because you know how many people I have like seriously ask me sometime like, "Do you and Mercer talk a lot in the off season and like write down stuff?" And I'm like, "No, we can't even spell, much less write." They're like, "Well, where does all this come from?" And I'm like, "Hell, I don't even know till I get up there. Like I don't know." But I said the one thing about it is Dave just goes with it. And when you said I'll just take the wound, like dude, if I would have had time to sit down and pee myself that day, like that might have been the greatest moment that I've ever had weighing in me because I'm like, "Oh, he's good. He's quick."
But I think with most things, I'm sure you're the same, but like there's a fine line. Like I say things and I say it and I'm like, yeah, probably shouldn't have said that, but I said it already.
Yeah, it's already gone.
I think the reason you like the laughter is because you're like, whew, I got away
Didn't
with
get fired
it.
on that one. Yeah, I've hit some in punchlines before and I stood there going, "Oh yeah, this ain't gonna be good. This ain't gonna be good," you know. Good times.
Yeah.
Wouldn't happen no other way. There's one thing about it is no matter what I got in the bag, and some days it ain't always what you want, but that always going on stage to me is something you look forward to, you know, because it's every time you cross that stage, a lot of the younger anglers won't know this, but there becomes a time in everybody's career, Dave, that every time you cross that stage, you're further away from it than you'll ever come back to it. In other words, it's like hunting. There's only so many hunts, and then you start going in hunting, and you're going in on the lighter side of I'll never get to go again. And I always kind of look at that in the last 10 years as you don't ever know when your last trip across this stage is going to be. So my mindset is I look forward to that because you just don't ever know what life offers.
Yeah.
So you try to take that in, and that's hard, dude. When you ain't got but 11 or 12 pounds and you done had your teeth kicked in, it's hard to say, well, I look forward to weighing in.
And it's evil. The whole setup's evil, dude. Like, if you look at what you guys go through mentally, like I try to explain this to people that come and work with B.A.S. and stuff that are from other industries. And I'm like, you got to understand, like, the mental. So dude's worked his ass off all day trying to fish. I mean, he's thought you have thought more thoughts than anybody could ever, like, you've
exhausted all that,
Yeah.
shot every bullet, you're done.
And then we put you in a trough with a bunch of other dudes that have just been through that, but some of them caught them, and they might be nice people, but they're not in that situation.
And some
Everybody,
of them stink, you know. And then you got people leaning over your shoulder going, you gonna stay around? And then and I love my boy Pat. He's like, gee, we come up to the multi live camera, and he's like, gee, what do you think? And I'm like, I didn't care. I mean, you look on each side of me. I'm like the kid in the urinal when everybody around you is playing a different game. I'm like, it ain't good.
Yeah.
So, time you get to that stage, you're like, whew, I got out of that.
Yeah. And you had to listen to some guys talk about how easy it was. You know,
oh, God, this big ones, dude. Jumped off of 14. I had a couple 11s chase it up. I mean, I ain't got a 31, dude. It's a really tough day. And I'm like, I got 14.
Come on, G. But G, you were right there. You were right near where I was.
They're like, no, dude, tell me the truth. And I'm like, you can't lie about what's in the sack.
Patrick Walters kid. He'll lie right up to the. He'll lie to
I had
Lisa.
Buddy Gross tell me one time he had 10 pounds. He's like, I got 10 pounds, and I'm looking in the bag, and I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I got 10 pounds, 19 something. And I'm like, you lied right up to the court case. Like, you Patrick Walters. Patrick be arguing when they called his weight out 23.7. No, Dave, it was 11 pounds. I tell you, man.
He does love to lie. He has turned it into.
He can catch him though, can he, dude? He's a freaking animal.
Yeah. There's a lot of them that can catch him. It's crazy.
Yeah, he won AOY and MPFL, and that was a tight race, man. You get Welcher, and it was a pretty heated race over there, and Patrick just cruised right in. I mean, I know it was tight, but you look at him, I'm like, Patrick's proved to me, hands down, dude, he's top 10 in the world.
Oh.
And I don't go by that whatever that ranking, world ranking. That's trash. Whatever them people do. I look at who you fish against and what they like. I'm like, you can't go because a guy fishes more tournaments and gets more points that he's more. No, you got to look at I look at versatility, marketing, the way they carry themselves, various bodies of water, techniques, electronic ways. Like you put all that in there. Patrick Walters, top 10 in the country.
Yeah.
Down.
It'd be cool to get a list of, if you took all the guys from the Elite Series, all the guys from the Bass Pro Tour, and BFL, throw them in, all the guys there, and everybody got a private, like you need to pick 10 names that you think are the top 10 anglers in the world of any tour. And there'd be some bias, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you would have.
I bet it wouldn't be with the media prints. In other words, I bet it wouldn't be the perception we have now. And I bet you if you said, okay, BPT guys, y'all write down the top 10 anglers y'all think in the world in the Elite Series in the last 5 years, present, non-present, and then let the Elite guys, you go over here to the BPT and write down who you think the top 10 in that league is. The anglers' picks may fool you a little bit. There's a few in common. You can't argue J-Dub, Michael Gill, Dustin Cannell, Drew Gill. But there's going to be some names that certain guys bring up. They see something different in. You know what I mean? Like they see how good they are. They might not dominate and win every tournament, but they see how consistent or how they do things. I think anglers might rate themselves a lot different than a number situation versus a program.
Yeah. Well, you got extra time. You could set that up.
Nah, I'm out on that. Percocets, baby.
I appreciate you doing a podcast perked up. I mean,
me and Lula be watching shows, and she'd be like, "You remember this?" And I'm like, "Nope." She said, "I just rewound it." And I'm like, "Nope, don't remember."
Are you happy? Yeah.
Yep. I hate taking that stuff, but that nicotine pain, man, it'll make you want to take one. And hey, I told her that, so I'd let her stick it. Like, yes, so stick it in my rear end. It hurts bad. I don't care. Just, but I think the key to that for me, like we joke about that because people like if you say you're taking pain medicine, people's like all the time, don't get hooked and start selling your mother's jewelry. No, dummy, I've had my leg cut in two. I'm just trying to walk. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to get to a point of recovery where you can speed up, but. Like to say you've had to take pain meds or yawn and people are looking at you like, we're going to pray for you. It's taboo. I'm like, I ain't stripped the copper out of the community center yet. My wife's got a list of when I take my medicine. She's not letting me freebase cocaine in the kitchen. No, she's just trying to keep me from peeing myself when I get to hurting so bad.
Well,
but I think I do think there's several anglers this year's had some surgeries. I know Hank Jerry had another surgery. Fishing takes a toll on people. You got to get your body healthy, and I do like the fact that we have a little downtime in the winter. Now, bass the season may cut off, but if we choose to fish another league, it may carry on. But then you have sponsor obligations. You have the new Ultimate Angler Tournament, which, like it or not, is still a $500,000 derby.
Oh, it's awesome.
I ain't got to like any of it, but I like that money they're gonna pay out. You know what I mean? Like,
it's awesome.
It's scary. It carries that into the fall, so it does. Your recovery time may get a little shorter. But I do think it's good that anglers can get healthier, whether it's eyes, knees. Russ Lane had told me that last year he got his eyes fixed, and he had some veins in his leg. It was real painful. He had them fixed, and you want to see that. You don't want to see anybody play the game hurt. Like it ain't no fun.
No.
You look at who was the quarterback used to do that all the time with Green Bay, Brett Favre. I mean, he used to.
Yeah.
Hey, he's the only guy I know that could throw for 400 on them hydrocodone, but he could do it, son. He'd have a finger broke off and turned down, still be spinning at 300 yards.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Long term, that definitely did not work out.
Think about how tough some of those guys are. Like that level of toughness is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. That's hockey player tough, dude. That's ice hockey tough.
Yeah. Well, I just feel it's like they didn't have an option. Like now, the world gives people options. Like you've got a voice. Before they were just like, well. I don't have a choice.
Dave, I'm going to tell you a deep, dark secret before we close on my wife.
Whoa.
She went to her first hockey game last year and she liked it.
Of course she did.
She went to go. She liked the warm-ups where the players do their legs and they do warm. And I'm like, come to find out, her and her girlfriend, that's the only reason they wanted to go was to see the warm-ups, the dirty dancing on the ice.
Wow.
She don't even know where the puck was the whole game, but she knew when they warmed up.
Do you ask her if she thinks that people would show up to watch anglers warm up in the morning?
If we did that, like in the boat, you think people want to watch Iaconelli do some hip flexors like that in the boat down there? Give a couple of yes. Patrick Walters, shorty shorts.
Oh,
one of the players then got off the bench, went in the game.
That would happen.
It was funny because the whole time she was like, "We got to get there early. We got to get there early." And it was the Huntsville Havoc. They got a little minor league team. They're pretty good, apparently. I don't know nothing about it, but like, oh, we got to get there early. And her and her girlfriend are like looking at each other. I'm like, oh, y'all. And it was Fisher and I's mom. Oh yeah, it's to watch the hockey warm up. So you know what she told me the other day? Sure would like to go to another hockey game.
Oh,
she don't even remember what the score was last time or who won. She just knew when they come out at intermission in the quarter, they did those flexors, and the goalie was down there doing that. She went, this is Magic Mike on ice.
Wow. I didn't know that. Well, whatever you're into,
you sneaky Canadians.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing, but
it's a TikTok thing.
It's a TikTok thing for the ladies.
All right, hockey players stretching. All right,
yeah.
I mean,
hey,
why do you think guys watch volleyball?
Yeah, why do you think we watch beach volleyball? I don't even know what the score is.
I don't know how they keep the score.
I don't know where they'd put the scorecard. They got no pockets in there. They got no pockets in their uniform.
I got an idea.
No.
So this year, new knees, new you.
I've run a Yamaha outboard for over 30 years. It has got me home safe each and every time. If you enjoy this podcast, remember, Yamaha supports it and they care enough about you to make this ad read very short. Now back to the show.
It's all good.
Let's have fun.
Yeah.
I know like setting people like, man, we're going in a new year. Do you set a lot of goals? No, I'm goal driven anyway. I don't have to write my new ones down every year. And, the object is to have as much fun as I can, to be as competitive as I can, to put every effort I can into winning and doing my best, but also being very conscious not to be miserable in the process of trying to do it.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. That's a great. Why don't you just win the first two and you'll start a whole new trend? Everybody will be getting new knees.
If I win that, and me and you be down at Lake Martin with no shirts on doing the polar bear plunge, I'll make you a deal. I win Lake Martin. Here's a bet. Or Gunnersville. I win either of the two. Me and you going to strip down in our undies and do the polar bear plunge right off the ramp.
Oh, I'd do that for you. Yeah. Yeah. There's not a lot of people I would do that for, but I will.
No judgment. That's a judgment-free zone now. Once we go down the ramp, there's a judgment-free zone.
What happens down the ramp stays down the ramp.
It's chilly down here. I know that 47-degree water don't scare you canoots, but it scares me, okay?
Well, I'm not scared going in. It's getting out.
Public humiliation if my boxers don't stay up.
You see how quick every guy, when they get out of the water ever, reaches down to pull their shorts away from their body? Like
it'll put a new meaning to corky ball. And that's how we end Dave Mercer's podcast. The new corky ball has been discovered.
Oh, well, keep healing and keep your hands off your corky balls.
I appreciate you having me on, man. I know that you have a lot of guests all year and there's a lot of people to work on, but we always seem to be able to do this at least once a year. And it's always fun, and it's fun. You know, even when you don't make the cut, I've enjoyed standing around doing the live show with you, talking. Like it's informative, it's just learning, but it's always good times. So I hope to see you a lot, but I don't want it to be on the live show unless you're covering me.
No, let's spend Sundays together on the stage.
We spent a lot of Sundays together. I felt like I was a child that every other weekend Dad had me.
No, I mean the Sundays on stage.
I was with you. Behind stage, I'm with Dad every other weekend. Here I go.
Yeah, well, on stage, we're going to do it this new knees, dude. I mean, and then you can just, you could trash talk them all. You see what I've been dealing with? If I had these new knees 20 years ago, they wouldn't even know what
these
KVD
new
is.
Four-wheel drive knees, these all-terrain vehicles. I ain't gonna tell them what I could have jumped across, you know. But hey, it's only a few weeks, bro. I mean, we're joking, but like it's 4 weeks out right now.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
4 weeks long.
Get to rehabbing. I better start studying.
You're going to stay the whole 2 weeks when you come down, like do a back to back. You're not going to go back and forth, are you?
Well, it depends. If you win Gunnersville, it might take me that long to get out of the water. Walrus in my ass up there. It
takes that long to get over the flu. But I didn't know if he's going to pull your boat down and try to fish in between tournaments or something like.
Well, it's my daughter's birthday that week, so I'll probably go home in between those two. But
have you talked Trip into coming to Lake Martin?
No, but he needs to. He needs to be on the live show with us.
Yes. And let him. I just want him to do it one time where he says, "All right, fellas, time for a little housekeeping." That was always the roll call. You know, he never told you to quiet down in a meeting. He'd just do this.
And people would quiet down.
Oh yeah. I'd start talking to Bobby Lane like this. I'd be like, that guy right there, Bobby Lane. He's the one causing the ruckus, not me.
You got called out a lot, Swindle.
Oh, God, dude. And I'm telling you, sometimes I was innocent, dude. I was innocent.
You really think you were innocent?
It was once I know I was. But the other one was pretty suspect, as your kids would say. They was stuff. I think I could have beat them in a court of law of whether or not I was guilty, but Trip didn't cut me no slack. And I'd be like trying to point like, nope.
Oh, the most legendary Trip story ever was when he took his shoes off.
Y'all put these on if you want to do my job.
When we were in Michigan, and
he got the point across. I mean, we were at an impasse. You know what I mean? Like, and he got his point across. He seen what we were talking about, and he understood it wasn't right, but that wasn't nothing he could do.
Yeah.
Y'all put these on if you want to try to figure it out. But tomorrow we got to fish.
I'll walk in them, boys.
Walk in them. And nobody run up there and got them, neither did they.
No. People it made people think, like, if he'd have just said walk in them and not taking his shoes off, I think we'd still be arguing. But
it was the visual of it is I realized when he done that he was done. Like he understood both parts of the argument. The answer didn't lie in him.
Yeah.
So shut up. If you don't like it, put these on. And so I think the visual concept was, okay, guys, this is where we're at. We're going to fish this tournament up here and we're going to make the best of it.
Yeah. I just thought about it now, but I need to start another movement. Not only to have Trip come on live with us there, But you know how, like, when you're in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, they donate things, you know what I mean,
Yes.
through their career.
We need
and I
those
don't know what
shoes.
Trip has in his little cubicle, like his area, but those damn shoes need to be.
Would be awesome. If they go up for auction, I swear to you, I'm going to outbid you.
Oh,
If they put them shoes up there, I'm getting them.
I mean, about the only thing I want more than those is the light post that Iconelli beat up. Which I know who owns it, and I'm still trying to negotiate with.
Well, James
Chuck.
Watson's got people trying to buy my sunglasses from the Key West that got broke. So he said,
Come on.
James picked them up, carried them home. I'm like, James, he goes, oh, this is money, baby. We never found my necklace. And he said, dude, I got people reaching out wanting to bid on these glasses that you had on. And I'm like, James, he goes, I don't miss an opportunity to make $1, G.
And he normally does.
The funniest thing you'll ever know in your life, and leaving it on this, is when a smoke cleared and the guy's resting on the sand. James has got his knee in his back, and he said, we trained for this. It was the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, oh, he just told him we trained. And I said, James, he said, I didn't tell him it was 30 years ago. I told him we trained for this. He said, I'm not lying.
He's not. He's telling the truth. I mean,
he's a good one, though. We had a lot of fun with old James. People that don't know, if you don't know the real JW, he's a good dude, man. He's a smart sucker, too. He's a worker, man, but he's funny.
He's awesome. He's awesome. The one and only Gerald Swindle. Thank you, dude.
Peace out. I'll see you here at Gunnersville, big dog.
Gerald Swindle never lets you down. He's always going to tell you what he thinks, and he's not going to hold back. And I sure appreciate him for that. And nothing would make me happier than to leap off the end of a dock into Lake Gunnersville with him after a victory. That being said, I'll gladly jump in. I'm not taking my shirt off. Doesn't need to happen. I mean, really, it doesn't. I'm amazed my wife still finds me attractive, but I'm pretty sure a lot of other people won't. So we'll leave tarps on and jump in the water. Just go get the W. Great to be back in your life. I missed you guys. I missed this community. I missed corresponding with you all. But I hope your year's off to a great start. But let's keep in mind that everybody is fighting a battle. Whether you can see it or you can't see it, everybody's got a battle. Kindness is contagious. Smile, and let's all work together to make 2026 an even better year. Until next time, enjoy being, and as always, Bob Cobb, take it away.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?